me dead. I was lost and sad to the voices in my head. I gotta get up again. I gotta get up to another day. I'm not giving up again. I gotta get up. I gotta get up. I gotta get up again. I gotta get up to another day. I'm not giving up again. I gotta get up. I gotta get up. I gotta get up again. Look into my eyes. My heart beats like a drum. You listen to my lies. Love is far to come. Your love is far. Running at the speed of light, kissing under city lights. Calls me in this morning till morning just goes on. Running at the speed of light, kissing under city lights. Calls me in this morning till morning just goes on. Gotta get up again. I gotta get up to another day. I'm not giving up again. I gotta get up. I gotta get up. I gotta get Gonna get up
Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. Just let me get this going. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about Cloud Skills Challenge today. As you know, Microsoft Ignite had an event, or Microsoft had Ignite, and this time too they had a Cloud Skills Challenge, which basically means that if you go through the Microsoft Learn modules and complete some of the tasks listed in that, you are given a free certification. So I think it's a good opportunity, even if you're not sitting for the certification, to just develop new skills, I guess. And what I'm planning to do is the AZ400. Maybe I'll sit the certification, but for now it just could be going through the skills needed and going through the modules itself. I am not for sure if, maybe I'll set the certification. If I pass, awesome. If not, I'll still keep developing the AZ400 skills that are needed. So if you don't know what cloud skills is, we'll bring it up here. So Microsoft Cloud Skills Challenge Ignite. And I'll bring the window here. Yeah, let me know, where are you from? Like, which part of the world are you joining from? I saw a comment saying India. So that's great. I think it's probably like late in India right now, probably around 10 p.m. So that's impressive if you're joining this stream right now. But yeah, so this is what Cloud Skills is. This is their homepage. And we are particularly looking for the Ignite challenge. So let's try to find that. Microsoft Ignite Cloud Skills Challenge. I'll zoom in a little bit so it's easier to read. No, it's the same link. Okay, so here we are. And yeah, I'll paste the link in the chat. And how does the audio sound? Like, I know we had some issues last time with audio. Do I sound okay? React with a thumbs up, or let me know in the chat, so that I just don't keep talking, even if the audio is messed up. I will figure it out. I had some issues with my audio interface last time, so I went the USB route. So the mic now is connected via USB, and I think I should be audible. But yeah, so this is the challenge itself. Sayed says, great. Is that for the audio? I'm guessing so. But yeah, the challenge details are here. Let me know if you... Let's zoom in a little bit. So it started on October 12, and it's already October 16. So, we have some catch up to do. And it ends on November 9 at 4 p.m. UTC. You're required to provide an email address during registration for Microsoft Learn Cloud Skills Challenge. So, if you have an Outlook account, or you already have a Microsoft account, if you have, discovered Learn before. So Learn is their, I think, go-to learning platform. So they have documentation, they have modules, they have, videos and stuff. So it's a really great tool if you're learning Azure or any of the Microsoft technologies. But yeah, so you have that, and by completing one of the challenges, you are entitled to one free Microsoft certification exams. You can only claim one offer per person, regardless of the, number of challenges we do. So don't do multiple challenges thinking that you'll get multiple free certifications. You'll only get one. And I also think that defeats the purpose of the cloud skills here. This is for building up skills in cloud, right? So just making sure we'll use, this appropriately. This exam offer is only redeemable for select Microsoft exams. So these are the exams that you can redeem this for. So 305, you have the AZ400, which I'm looking at, DP100, which is Data Science Solution on Azure, MB240, which is Dynamics 365, and then MS700, which is for Microsoft Teams, right? And you have 720. You also have PL100, which is for Power Platform, and you have SC200, which I was also interested in. I already have the SC900, but I have had my eye on AZ400 for quite a while. So we'll do this, and then maybe, Ignite next year we'll do the security one. So there are no prerequisites to taking an exam. However, to achieve Microsoft certification, you must first achieve the prerequisites. If you take and pass the expert exam before the prerequisite, then you won't achieve the certification until you do the prerequisite. For AZ400 will look at what the prerequisite is. I think you can do 104 or 204. So this is the exam itself. Where's the certification? Here. So the certification that you will get is DevOps Engineer Expert. So yeah, you can either do Azure Administrator Associate, which is the AZ104, which I already have, or you could do the Developer Associate, which is AZ204. I don't know if that has changed to, 205 maybe, but these are the options for prerequisite. And this is the exam that I'll be sitting now, right, to get Microsoft Certified DevOps Engineer Expert badge. So it usually costs $165 USD, and that's where you will be saving, $165 with Cloud Skills Challenge. Just addressing a question here. Sayed says, hey Rishabh, right now I am working as a network admin and want to start my career in cloud. Where should I start? This will help a lot. Okay, so network admin, you're like really, at a good position to start compared to, where I was in my career when I wanted to enter cloud. So you already kind of are familiar with how networking works, how internet works, maybe you're already working with Active Directory. Maybe you have some experience with Azure, right? It depends on your job description right now. But also you might have some Linux experience. So those are like two fundamental, I would say, prerequisite to enter cloud is having some fundamental Linux knowledge and networking knowledge, right? So you're at a good start there. I would pick a cloud platform now. So, either if you already have some experience with Azure, or you have looked into the UI or the console in Azure, or if you have some experience, maybe you have looked at AWS or GCP. So pick one, and then I would say like start learning that particular cloud platform. And the way to do that is doing hands-on projects. So Cloud Resume Challenge is a good project. And if you want like really structured learning, I would recommend, going through a certification. You don't have to sit the exam, but it'll give you that structured learning path to learn a cloud platform. Also, good resources, learn2cloud.guide. It kind of, covers all the skills and gives you a roadmap on how to enter cloud. So I'll make sure to link it in the chat, but it's called learn2cloud.guide. Oh yeah, so I don't know how to pronounce your name, but someone is asking my age. Take a guess. I think I commented to your YouTube comment too is, take a guess and we'll see if you're right. But yeah, so for the Cloud Skills Challenge, this is what we're talking about, Microsoft Ignite. I think it's a great offer. The redemption window starts at November 18 and expires on February 15, which is a good amount of time, I think. The expiration date cannot be extended, so keep that in mind. And you can only redeem it once. You must be older than 14 years, and it's non-transferable. So I cannot transfer the voucher. So I highly suggest don't do that. And I think the way now it works is, I don't know if you get a voucher. I've not done Cloud Skills for quite a while. So I think it's just associated to your email that you'll be using to do the challenge. So let's look at the Cloud Developer Challenge now. I also heard, so he says 24 for my age guess. Anybody else who wants to take a guess, please go ahead. And then I'll reveal. Walter says 28. Okay. Yeah, so maybe I should remove this banner on the top so that, nothing is hidden. Okay, so you did a guess of 28. Walter said 28. And then the other person said 24. I am 25, so 24 was really close. I Yeah, this year I turned 25. I hope that answers your question. Olivet says, for the certificate, is it given as a voucher or you pay to write it? No, you don't have to pay. So the way it works, I believe, is it's linked. So let me sign in to my Microsoft account here. So this account that you use for your challenge for Microsoft Learn is also, if you have a Pearson VUE account, right? Make sure your emails are associated, and I'll be live streaming this towards the end. So, do the challenge and we'll see how the certification redemption works. In the past, it would link to your Pearson VUE and you could see it in your account saying, hey, redeem a voucher for the certificate. And you don't have to, provide your credit card or pay anything, which I think is the way it should be. So let me log in quickly here. And I just received a prompt for my MFA. Okay, so that should work. Okay, so this is the challenge. We have 23 days. There are 36 modules, right? There's also a leaderboard, and you can see already some of them have completed all 36 modules, which is fine because I think how Cloud Skills work is if you have done the modules before, they'll count it as complete. Because that's how it was working in the past. But yeah, since I haven't touched AZ400 yet or any of the Learn modules, I have completed 0 modules. Yeah, so hash and star place says you complete the challenge, you'll get a voucher, use that voucher. Yeah, so the exam is basically free. You don't pay anything. So I think this is the perfect opportunity if you're looking to, sit an exam as it could be a job requirement, right? I also feel like certifications are not the ultimate, thing that'll get you a job. But I think for structured learning that I'll be doing right now, I think it's a great, accountability factor and also gives you like a structured path to learn something specific in a cloud platform. So we'll click on continue learning and we'll see the modules now. So, you have 36 modules here. And we have the first one being introduction to DevOps. So, I'll be going through that, and let's open up and see what's it's all about, right? The other thing I think Ignite had was they came up with new Windows Surface stuff. I haven't looked at it yet. I've only heard things that it's like really good. They have some integration with Apple now. But yeah, I don't know if we should check it out on the stream. But yeah, if you have any thoughts on the Surface products that just got launched, let me know in the chat. But yeah, let me look it up because I don't know how I missed it. But I heard they did had a Surface launch with the new hardware. So yeah, introduction to DevOps, right? It has 7 units, and this module explores the key areas that organizations must apply to start their DevOps transformation journey, change the team's mindset, and define timelines and goals. Second says here, Rishabh, in which stream you have done your master's? Let me know. Oh, I don't mean to disappoint you, but I don't have a master's degree. I also don't have a bachelor's degree, so I only have a 2-year diploma in computer networking and technical support. Oh, by the way, if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, feel free to do that. And that should also answer some of your career questions on, what past roles I have worked in and recruiters. Okay. So, yeah, feel free to add me on LinkedIn. This is my profile. I'll make sure to drop it in the chat. But yeah, so I work as a developer evangelist now at Twilio. I also work as a professor at the St. Lawrence College. I teach cloud there. And then in the past, I started in tech as technical support specialist, moved up to cloud operations engineer, and then DevOps. Prior to that, I worked at a gas station. So yeah, that's a bit about my education and career. So yeah, introduction to DevOps, learning objectives are by the end of this module, you'll be able to understand what DevOps is and the steps to accomplish it, identify the teams to implement the process, and plan for the transformation with shared goals and timelines. Plan and define timelines for goals. Prerequisites are none. This module is part of the learning process, which we are doing for AZ400. So let's hit start and start, looking at the actual module itself or the unit. I'm gonna have some water. Okay. Yeah, make sure you like the stream, share with others so that I think that's the best way to support my channel here. Like I'm not trying to sell you any course or ebook, and there is a lot of more content coming when it comes to cloud and DevOps and also DevRel because developer relations is what I'm working at right now, right? So yeah, make sure you like the stream if you're finding it, helpful. So DevOps is the union of people, process, and products to enable continuous delivery of value to our end users, according to Donovan Brown in What is DevOps. So I'm guessing it's an article. Oh, it's a technology blog. Nice. DevOps is the union of people. Yep. I'm very deliberately in the terms used in this definition. I choose value over software. DevOps is not just automating a pipeline so we can quickly deliver software. Our goal is to deliver value. The term end users was also very carefully chosen. The value we produce must reach our end users. If the value only reaches the dev and QA environments but is held up before the reaching production, where it can be realized by our end users, we are still failing. I think that's a really good definition to, answer some of the misconceptions when it comes to DevOps. Because I think for DevOps, we specifically now, I feel like it's still evolving, the concept of DevOps. But what I know my manager used to say when I, got into DevOps engineer role from cloud was it's about the principles and it's about the culture more than, automating stuff. So there are a set of principles and rules that can help you, optimize and deliver the results not only to the teams internally but till the end user. So I think this is like great definition. I'm gonna use this to send people to this. But yeah, going back, the DevOps learning paths will help you prepare for DevOps journey. You'll learn the main characteristics of the DevOps process, tools, and people involved during the lifecycle. Also, it prepares you for Microsoft DevOps Solutions certification exam. You'll see other content to ensure you have complete picture of DevOps. The modules content includes graphics, references, links, module review questions, and hands-on labs. Okay. So, They also talk about the domain areas here, and someone is asking for the Instagram. I'll also look up the Windows stuff, the Surface stuff, because I'm really interested. And let me know in the chat if we should watch it together, because we could. I know The Verge, I think it's called The Verge, right? They do like a summarized video of such events. Like I know they did for Apple, where they do like a 10-minute thing and they summarize the entire 1 hour or 2 hour event into what was launched and what features were launched, right? So we can look at that together in the stream if you want. Let me know in the chat and I'll share my Instagram real quick here. It's Rishabh in Cloud if you want to just look up, but I'll also share it as a link in the chat. Okay, so the 5 domain areas would be configuration processes and communication. Configure process and communication, which is 13%. Design and implement source control. So I think we're talking about version control systems here, which will be 19%. And then design and implement build and release pipelines, which is 42%, which makes sense. Develop a security and compliance plan, 14%, and then instrumentation strategy is 13% of the exam. Okay. People in these modules are interested. Okay, yep. So that tells us a bit about the exam. The exam is for DevOps professional, combine people, processes, and technologies to continuously deliver valuable products. We know about that. We also know why we are sitting this exam, right? So learning objectives. After completing these modules, students and professionals can plan for the transformation with shared goals and timelines. Select a project and identify project metrics and KPIs, create a team and agile organizational structure, design a tool integration strategy, design a license management strategy, so Azure DevOps and GitHub, right? Design a plan for end-to-end traceability from work items to working software. Authentication and access strategy, integrating on-premises and cloud resources. Zachary says, awesome content. Thank you, Zach, or Zachary. I don't know if you go by Zach. Prerequisites. So these are some of the prerequisites, and AZ900 is on the first because I think it's a good, if you're not familiar with Azure, just go check out the Learn module for Azure Fundamentals. Don't sit the exam, but go check it out. I think it's amazing. I passed my AZ900 doing the Build Cloud Skills Challenge in the past. I think it was 2021. And so the exam was for free, and that's why I sat it. I'm like, sure, if it's free, I'll sit it. And I passed. But that was not only the end result, because I wanted to learn about Azure, and I think Azure Fundamentals is really good if you're, for me, I know I worked for 2 years in AWS and Azure was pretty new to me. And I think like Microsoft Learn is a great resource. Also, if you are going for Azure Fundamentals, I do have my notes published publicly, so you can find them. It's a web app, but it's also available on GitHub. It's basically Markdown, right? So notes.rishabh.cloud is where I publish them, and I'm hoping to do that for AZ400 too. So the DevOps engineer expert exam that will be sitting. But you can see I have done some other certifications and I've published my, personal notes. So yeah, go check it out. I have heard some good comments about people finding it helpful. So I hope it helps with helps you with preparation when it comes to cloud certifications. There's also Linux Essentials. So, I think I've covered a lot about some Linux fundamentals here, as you can see. But yeah, go check it out. I think it's a good resource if you're planning to do some certifications. But yeah, not to sidetrack. Um, so yeah, a prerequisite, they recommend going through Azure Fundamentals Learn module, and then also Azure Administrator, right? If you're new to the Azure developer, consider taking the free online create serverless application. Again, this is a Learn module, or for the AZ204, right? And then you need to create an Azure DevOps organization and a team project for some exercises. If you don't have it yet, see create an organization Azure DevOps. So I don't have it. I used to have it when I was a DevOps engineer, but that was my work account. And since I don't no longer work there, I'll need to create this. If you already have an organization created, use the Azure DevOps demo generator. Oh, I didn't know about that. So we'll create that and get all things set up for Azure DevOps. See create project Azure DevOps. You need to create a GitHub account at github.com and a project for some exercises. If you don't have it yet, join GitHub. So GitHub I have, and I can pull it up here if someone is interested in, my GitHub profile. So here it is. And I also have a DevOps project that I'm working on, which I think is really cool. Will be community driven. I don't know if I should reveal it, but it's a DevOps guide, and it's free, open source, and will help you get into DevOps. So maybe I'll do a separate video on that, but it's something in the works, and I think it'll be, a good resource for people who are trying to enter into DevOps. So yeah, that's my GitHub. I'll link it down here. But yeah, we have GitHub set up. We don't have Azure DevOps organization set up, so we'll need to do that. But yeah, the next unit basically, tells us about what DevOps is. Move, and I see some spam now, so let me clean that up real quick here. Oh, come on. Okay, so put user, yep. Okay. Sorry, just give me some seconds here to remove some spam from the chat. Okay, I think we are cleaned up. Okay, so let's go through some of the questions here. Zach has preferred. Okay, awesome. So Zach says Azure is the equivalent of having an iPhone, and AWS is like having an Android phone. I love Azure and struggling with AWS. Probably wait for AWS to fully switch to Pearson VUE next year. PSI verified ID via webcam while Pearson VUE does app on phone. Oh yeah. That's some. I don't know which part of the world you are from, Zach, but for me, AWS does support Pearson VUE here in Canada, and that's how I have I have taken my certification exams is through Pearson VUE for AWS too. I know I've had a hard time with PSI. Also, I would love to go back into the test center and do it because it's so much less stressful. And now that I've moved to Kitchener and I have a new apartment, the test center is like literally 2 blocks away, so I could just walk up there. But yeah, most of the certifications I sat was during COVID, and that's why all of them had to be remote, and I just can't go through the process of cleaning up. Like, I have multiple monitors, so you have to make sure you are disconnected, right? You cannot use headphones and stuff. So all of those things, it's just too much work to like undo my setup, right? Okay, so Hyder says, "Hi Rishabh, thanks for the live stream. I've been following up from a long time about your progress in cloud running. It's inspiring. You're doing great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Can you make a video on how to create notes like from scratch? Much appreciated." Oh, sure. Yeah. Usually what I do is I go into GitHub, create a repo, and just put things in Markdown. So let's go look at the Linux one, or Azure Fundamentals is fine. This is all Markdown. You can see it's Azure Fundamentals.md. So it's a Markdown file, and then I just write down stuff. What I did is I use a Gatsby template here that uses Markdown as blog posts. So it was a blog template that I used to create this website here. And then some HTML, magic to just display these cool information about myself. But yeah, it's basically a blog post, like a blog template from Gatsby that I use. Then it renders my Markdown that I have here in the GitHub repo. I didn't notice we were at 236 stars. That's awesome. Yeah, so go check it out. And I'll probably make some video on how I take notes. But I think you will be able to see it. I plan on doing these live streams until I finish the challenge, right? So obviously I'll be sitting the certification, and maybe I can show some insights on how I take notes, right? Okay. Zach says, in the US, but was trying to get 50% off on exams. It's only offered through PSI. Once they switch to Pearson, they'll still have. Oh, weird. I didn't know about that it's only done through PSI. I did take like the 50% off, but I think in Canada it could be different because I got it through Pearson. Weird. Okay. Yeah, so I hope that they switch to, Pearson soon. It's less hassle. So what is DevOps? The contraction of Dev and Ops, pretty explanatory, refers to replacing siloed development and operations. The idea is to create multidisciplinary teams that now work together with shared and efficient practices and tools. Essential DevOps practices include agile planning, continuous integration, continuous delivery, and monitoring of applications. And DevOps is a constant journey. And they have this cool diagram we all know, right? DevOps is that infinity logo, and then you have build, continuous integration, deploy, operate, continuous feedback, and then again planning, and then build. Understand your cycle time. So all of these challenges I did face during the DevOps role that I had. I feel like the team was like a new team. They just created it, and that's why I had the chance to move from cloud operations to like DevOps. But that also meant we had to figure out a lot of things when it comes to, what we'll use for our builds, how we are going to do planning, how we'll collaborate with the dev team. And I think it was such a nice learning experience. Like those kind of opportunities, I feel like they don't come like often, right? Where you are building stuff from ground up. And I think I learned the most in during that time. But that also meant we had to figure out a lot of stuff. So I think we were kind of behind when it comes to, containers and containerization. Also, I think observability was also, we were not at a point that we could say, okay, this is done. But yeah. So understand your cycle time. Like, let us start with a basic assumption about software development. We'll describe it as OODA, observe, orient, decide, act, loop. Okay, that's the first time I heard about that. Originally designed to keep fighter pilots from being shot out of the sky, the OODA loop is an excellent way to think about staying ahead of your competitors. Observe, orient, decide, act. Okay. You start with observing business, market needs, current user behavior, and available telemetry data. And then you orient with enumeration of options for what you can deliver, perhaps with experiments. Next, you decide what to pursue and you act by delivering working software to real users. You can see all occurring in some cycle time. Yeah, I've never heard OODA before. Let me know if you have. Become data informed. I think data informed decisions are the best. That's how you should operate. We recommend you use data to inform what to do in your next cycle, right? Many experience reports tell us that roughly 1/3 of the deployments will have negative business results. Oh, that's a cool metric there. 1/3 of the deployments will have negative business results. Approximately 1/3 will have a positive result, and 1/3 will make no difference. Oh, so it's like 1/3 will have negative, 1/3 will have positive, and then 1/3 of it is just no difference. That's interesting. Fail fast on effects that do not advance the business and double down on the outcomes that support the business. Yeah, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Sometimes the approach is called pivot or persevere. Did I pronounce that right? Okay. So, we saw that 1/3 will lead to negative results. 1/3 of it will make no difference. So we have to focus on the 1/3 that will bring positive outcome to our pipelines. Shorten your cycle time. When you adopt DevOps practices, oh, I see what you mean with this, with the diagram. So we have to make our cycle time shorter as we move on, which makes sense, right? So less time building, less time integrating. So you shorten your cycle time by working in smaller batches. That's what continuous integration and continuous deployment is about. You make sure continuous integration means that the code is being updated in shorter, smaller chunks with your source, right? And continuous deployment makes sure that whenever the continuous integration happens, it's being deployed, right? If it passes certain tests and stuff. Using more automation, yeah. So we don't need manual work, which takes time. Hardening your release pipeline, improving your telemetry, and deploying more frequently. So that's what continuous deployment is. Awesome. So validated learning. Okay, so as we learn, we deploy more, right? That's the goal here, and we also make sure these cycles are smaller. So these are all the principles that I was talking about. Like DevOps is about these principles, these cultural practices. Optimize validated learning. Oh, okay. The more frequently you deploy, the more you can experiment, the more opportunity you have to pivot or persevere and gain validated learning each cycle. This acceleration in validated learning is the value of the improvement. Think of it as the sum of progress that you achieve and the failures that you avoid. Yep. So all of this is making sense now because I can relate to it, thinking back about the time during my DevOps phase. Also, let me create a poll here real quick. Start a poll. Should we watch Microsoft Surface launch event? Okay. Did it create a poll? Okay, yeah. Awesome. So next unit is exploring the DevOps journey. And we have identify transformation teams, explore shared goals and define timelines, and then we have a knowledge check. Yep, I'm pretty familiar with this diagram. I've seen, the builds. If they succeed, it's a green, and then if it's red, it failed. Yo, hey GPS, thanks for tuning into the stream. Yeah, I'm just going over. So Gwen also made a video on, the Azure free certification and how you can get them. So I was talking about the Ignite Cloud Skills Challenge, and I haven't done the DevOps AZ400, even though I had it on my checklist for 2022. So I'm like, now that we're having, a free certification through Ignite, not that I'm sure I will sit the exam, but I'm just going through the Learn module for the Cloud Developer Challenge here, and we just started learning about some of the principles that I think are really important for DevOps. And then I also did a poll about the Surface launch because I don't know how I missed it. I guess I was so caught up with Azure updates or like the cloud updates for Ignite. I didn't know Microsoft did a Surface or like a hardware launch. So yeah, I did a poll if we should watch it. The 400 is hard. Are you gonna stream every day? Yeah, the plan is that. There were also people interested in, how I take my certification notes. So I think if, I go through the modules and also take notes, they can kind of see like my note taking process. I don't know if that makes sense. But just like the thought process behind how I take these notes, right? But yeah, I also find it like it's taking, and I feel like, let me know in the chat how other people feel. But yeah, let me know in the chat how other people feel about, if it's boring going up through all this stuff. And what I can do is I'll go through each like module myself and then stream about what I have learned and like just have like a conclusion kind of stream and then going over some notes, if that makes sense. But yeah, no surfaces, speakers, and a desktop, I think. Oh, I thought that they launched the Surface 9 or 8, I don't know. Or Surface Pro 9 and then Surface Laptop 5. Or they revealed, I don't know. But yeah, we'll wait for the poll. I'll give it another 2 minutes and maybe we'll watch it. I was looking at, I think it's The Verge that does like a summarized videos of these launches, right? I know they do for Apple where they condense down the launch event from like an hour or 2 hours to like a few minutes. So I guess we could watch that. So remember, the goal is to shorten the cycle time. So we have learned about that. Start with the release pipeline. How long does it take to deploy a change of one line of code or configuration? For us, when I joined the DevOps team, I know that it usually, in the beginning, we would have to, volunteer a weekend when we will be deploying a new version of our app. So we knew that we have to bring that release, the pipeline that deploys our production app. We have to, shorten it down so that we could do releases more frequently, right? And launch features frequently. Ultimately, that is the brake on your velocity, right? Continuous integration drives the ongoing merging and testing of code, leading to an early finding of defects. That's what we talked about in the last module, right? Continuous integration means that you're merging your code to your, production or source, basically source control or the main branch, frequently in smaller chunks, which takes away few, challenges, like because there will be integration happening sooner, tests will be run on smaller chunks of code, smaller feature requests. this means that you'll be able to identify bugs pretty soon compared to if you had a like larger larger chunk of code that was being merged after a month, leading to an early finding of defects. Other benefits include less time wasted fighting merge issues and rapid feedback for development teams. Continuous delivery of software solutions to production testing environment helps organizations quickly fix bugs and respond to ever-changing business requirements. I agree. If there is a feature that is being worked on for quite a while, and then we launch it and the user feedback is that they didn't think this feature was important, I think it could have been avoided if we our time and energy could have been saved if it was done in smaller chunks. And that's what continuous delivery gets you, is because continuous integration did its part, right, where you merge smaller chunks of code. Test is done, and now you can launch the smaller features rapidly with the help of continuous delivery. Version control, usually with a Git-based repository, enables team located anywhere in the world to communicate effectively during daily development activities. Also integrate with software development tools for monitoring activities such as deployments. So this was also the Git kind of workflow, and I wish I could make that article public, but I cannot. But I did write our Git workflow as a DevOps engineer, because we were defining it specifically for infrastructure as code. We needed new repositories. We needed a workflow that would have been followed to merge code into our production branch at that time. And this was for like the DevOps project, not our production app. And this is what I picked was, if it's a bug, you'll have a branch for a bug. If it's a feature, you'll have a separate branch for a feature. You'll work on that and you'll create a merge request at the end. And then it'll go to the main branch, which was like the production kind of branch. And I think that's like I don't want to say it, but I think in open source too, this is like the most common Git workflow that is used. Use agile planning and lean project management techniques to plan and isolate work into sprints. We also worked in sprints. At that time, it was for 3 weeks, if I remember it correctly. So, you would have sprints of 3 weeks. You'll plan what issues the team and the engineers would be working on. And then the end of the sprint, you make sure what are some of the features and issues that were dealt with and released. A DevOps definition of done is working software collecting telemetry against the intended business goals. So your done doesn't mean that in DevOps you have to make sure you reach to the observability, which is kind of like the last stage where you can collect meaningful data of the features that has been launched. That's when it's considered done. Monitoring and logging of running applications, including production environments for application health and customer usage. It helps organizations create a hypothesis and quickly validate or disprove strategies. Okay, yeah, I agree. So observability, I think, is the most important. Specifically, if I know our app was, customer facing, the one that we were trying to automate a lot of stuff for. And one of the things we highly were dependent on was customer feedback. And we had really cool graphs in Datadog, and we had Grafana dashboards that would display how our apps are being used, right? And then we would focus on features that would, have more user impact and help more of the user, the end users, instead of us. Because, in the end, it was a business, and business is where you care about revenue. And the way you generate revenue is by having happy customers who recommend other customers to have your product, right? Public and hybrid clouds have made the impossible easy. I agree. The cloud has removed traditional bottlenecks and helped commoditize infrastructure. You can use infrastructure as a service to shift your existing apps, or platform as a service to gain unprecedented productivity. The cloud gives you a data center without limits, I totally agree. You have so many, PaaS or platform as a service available. You have so many service or IaaS or infrastructure as a service available that you can easily, um, you know, have that traditional data center kind of application up and running with a lot less friction now as compared to the old method. Infrastructure as code enables the automation and validation of creation and teardown of environments to help deliver secure and stable applications. So, what infrastructure as code means is instead of you launching the infrastructure through the UI or the console or the CLI, you basically write it as code. So you have a text file that'll have your code, right? And that code basically defines all of the infrastructure that will be deployed based on the instructions that you give. We also have the concept of microservices. So microservices architecture, you use that to isolate business use cases into small reusable services. I think one of the major features of microservices is you have these smaller services that are independent. They work closely together, but they are independent. So what that means is your one service can be down, but it won't impact the other service, and the other service would still be functioning, which takes away the old, monolithic kind of architecture design away, where if you're like it would result into your entire app being down. So it takes that away with microservices. The architecture also enables scalability and efficiency. Containers are the next evolution in virtualization. They are much more lightweight than virtual machines, allow much faster hydration and easy to configure files. So containerization is one of the technologies that I didn't discover then, because that was not our focus at the moment. And that is also what I'm planning to learn. So I think I'll start with Docker and then move my way towards orchestration with, Kubernetes. DevOps may hurt at first. Okay. I know it will get easier with fitness. Yeah. It's like lifting weights. If it hurts, do it more often. Like going to the gym, adopting new practices is likely to hurt first. The more you exercise the new techniques, the easier they will become. I think this is like a really good analogy here. Like training at the gym, where you first exercise large muscles before small muscles, adopt practices that have the most significant impact, cross-train to develop science. Okay, I think, yeah. It's just like lifting weights. I do, resonate with that analogy because it was hard in the beginning. As I said, our release pipeline was, we would have to volunteer on a weekend to deploy the app we had. Identify transformation teams. Okay. So I'm just going to take a quick glance at the poll we did. So we have 70% votes saying yes, and then 29% saying no. I guess towards the end of the stream, we'll watch it. I'll look it up. Unless you're building an entirely new organization, one of the significant challenges with any DevOps transformation project is taking actions that conflict, at least in some way, with ongoing business states. Okay. The first challenge is the availability of staff. I agree. We were asked prior to joining the DevOps team, was especially the ones. So I did focus on IAC and version control when I was a cloud engineer. So, there was some shared responsibility, not shared, I would say, some responsibilities and tasks that I was already doing as a cloud engineer that would fall under DevOps, if that makes sense. So yeah, I was asked, would you like to join DevOps? And I'm like, sure. The first challenge is availability of staff. Yep. Suppose the staff members who were leading the transformation project are also involved in existing day-to-day work. we were. I was part of the cloud engineering at that time, and like was 20% of my time was going into these DevOps projects. But then that's why they built like a complete new team, right? It'll be challenging to focus on the transformation when their current role directly impacts customer outcomes. It did. I was a cloud engineer, so I had to make sure, infrastructure is up and running, monitoring that infrastructure, we are patching, right? Things like that. We all know the desperate situation that involves customers will always win over a long-term project like DevOps transformation. Agreed. For the business, customers were like, especially for us, customers were like our priority. So if it meant me moving to DevOps would impact customers in a way, I think, I would have stayed in like the cloud engineering role. Luckily, we had like a good amount of staff. Another issue will be how the organization currently operates, implementing existing processes and procedures to support current business outcomes. Yep. The disruption required for a true DevOps transformation will usually challenge existing processes and procedures. Doing that is often difficult. Oh yeah, we had a lot of planning, like meetings before we could choose like tools. So I remember the story where we were picking our IAC tool. I was already working with CloudFormation as a cloud engineer, right? But when the time came for the DevOps team to pick an IAC tool, we did planning meetings and we chose. A lot of engineers had experience with or what was Azure's ARM, and Google Deployment Manager. I had experience with, CloudFormation because I was only dealing with AWS infrastructure at that time. And the planning meetings we did a couple of them every week. And for IAC, it was Terraform because of it being cloud agnostic, right? And they had an open source version, which is free to use. So I think a lot of planning goes into, this transformation, especially if there are existing processes and procedures. So for existing process for us or tool for us was CloudFormation, right? In the book Beyond the Idea, How to Execute Innovation, Dr. Vijay and Dr. Chris, noting when successful, have research that is involved in allowing innovation to occur in organization. Okay, so it will be difficult in the beginning, right? As we just saw with the analogy of lifting weights. It has often been despite the existing organizational processes. Concluding, it only works creating a separate team to pursue the transformation. We went that route where we created a separate team so that we could, totally focus on the transformation, have, specific engineers that are devoting 100% of their time towards the transformation. For DevOps transformation, the separate team should be composed of staff members focused on and measured on the transformation outcomes and not involved in the day-to-day operational work. That's what happened eventually. It took some months, but this was the end goal that we reached, is we were not involved in our day-to-day as much as we were involved and focused on the transformation towards DevOps. The team might also include some external experts that can fill the knowledge gaps, also helping to advise on processes that are new to existing staff members. Yep. So we had some senior engineers that had some experience with like automation and IAC and, some DevOps practices that they were already implementing in their organization, right? So those were good to have on the team because they were leading these, kind of discussions and brainstorming ideas. Ideally, the staff members recruited should already be well regarded throughout the organization. As a group, they should offer a broad knowledge base to think outside the box. Totally agree. We were like a mix of different engineers that were working on different tools, different clouds, different apps that were brought together because of having different mindset, and having those open discussions would really help if all of us had a different perspective. Okay. So, I have a question in the chat. But yeah, I'm a first year marine engineering student at IIT Kharagpur. Awesome. Kudos to you. Do I have any chances of getting into Mang companies? Please explain how. Um, so I believe romanticizing Mang is not a good thing, but I could see it. A lot of people have that dream. I had it once. Um, and yeah, I think you can do it. If it's specifically to be a software engineer, there are already roadmaps and stuff that you need to upskill. Like, you have to get good at data structure and algorithms, because you'll see interviews of those with big tech companies. System design is one of the major topics that is on these interviews. But I also feel like, you have to have some soft skills. So they look for things like leadership, how, you are as a human being, how well you can work within teams. So I would say build those. And the way you do that is, participating or having like clubs at your university, or going to events, going through hackathons, things like that will help you upskill your soft skills and team building skills. You'll also network with others. So yeah, it's possible to get into Mang, especially with such a prestigious institute that you have in your like under your belt. So, but yeah, kudos to you for getting into IIT Kharagpur. Okay. Explode shared goals. So reduce the time spent to fixing bug by 60%. This is also one of the things that I highly recommend to have on your resume, because this shows impact. So have numbers, have specific goals that you need to achieve. So that's what they're saying is like explode shared goals, which are measurable, right? Reduce the time spent on unplanned work by 70%. Reduce the out of hours work required by the staff no more than 10%. So this is a particular goal that I worked on. We had a lot of alerts, which meant we did have a lot of on-call hours that were being worked by me and my colleagues. So we were only 2 engineers that were on call for this specific app. And our goal that year was to make our app more, reliable and scalable. So most of the on-call alerts we received were regarding, if there was an AWS outage. A few of them were the auto scaling event didn't happen correctly. It was not configured the right way. There were some breaking changes that were deployed. So we make sure that year that our infrastructure and the code, when it gets merged, is more reliable, tested properly. So we did things like that, and we reduced the on-call alerts and hours that we worked by, I believe it was 40%, which is a lot. Remove all direct patching of production systems. Yeah, don't do that. You don't have to SSH into your production system, like one Ubuntu server maybe, to patch it. Like have processes in place where they are automatically patched, right? Or you have like a release process for patches that is done weekly. Define timeline for goals. So measurable goals also need to have timelines. While it is easy to set longer term goals, it is also easy to put off work when you do not require it for a while. It is essential to have an ongoing series of short-term goals. Overall projects should have timelines that span anywhere from a few months to a year. So yeah, have short-term goals, have long-term goals, and then make sure they're measurable, right? So I think those are some key things they're trying to talk here. There are several advantages of the shorter timelines. It is easier to change plans and priorities when necessary. Especially now, I think like businesses, there are reorgs happening, there are layoffs, hiring freezes, right? And businesses might pivot their goals and rapidly. So having short-term priorities or short-term plans will help you change or pivot where necessary. The reduced delay between doing work and getting feedback helps ensure that the learnings and feedbacks are incorporated quickly. So short-term goals and plans would also make sure, like, as you receive feedback, because you'll be receiving it on a often basis or like a regular basis because of your shortened cycles, it'll also mean you can highly depend on that and pivot as you need with the shorter cycles. It's easier to keep organizational support when positive outcomes are clear. Make sense? Knowledge check. So we have a quiz at the end where they'll check our knowledge. There's only 3 questions. So let's see if I can get them right. Which of the following choices best describes DevOps? DevOps is the role of who manages source control, pipelines, and monitor. No, DevOps is the union of people, processes, and products to enable continuous delivery of value to our end users. DevOps is the new process of creating continuous delivery and no, it's this. So DevOps is the union of people, processes, and products to enable continuous delivery of value, not product, of value to our end users. Which of the following choices drives the ongoing merging and testing of code that leads to finding defects early? Continuous integration. Easy. Which of the following choices is a practice that enables the automated creation of environments? Anybody want to take a guess? Infrastructure as code. Okay, let's check our answers. All of them are correct. Congratulations. Awesome. Okay, to summarize, we learned how understand what DevOps is and the steps we need to accomplish it. Identify teams to implement the processes, plan the transformation with shared goals and timelines, plan and define timelines for goals. So, have short-term and long-term goals, but the short-term one will help you pivot as per the business needs or as per the feedback we receive from the users. Awesome. So let's click on Unlock Achievement since we completed the module. Okay. That's good. I think it updates. Okay, so 1% is complete. We completed our first module. That's awesome. Okay. We'll go over these next, right? But since I've been streaming for 75 minutes. Oh my god. We'll see the Microsoft Surface event. Let me look it up real quick here. And I'll have to make sure the desktop audio is being captured. Okay, so we have the Verge stuff here and the desktop audio. I think that is good. Let me know in the chat if it's not audible.
7 years ago, we set out to perfect the form factor most people turn to when they want to get things done, the laptop. Like when you want to get right into your creative flow, it's effortless to open. And Windows Hello recognizes you for a quick login. And you can work the way you want, whether it's using the responsive touchscreen or the large glass trackpad. And you get a typing experience that's accurate, comfortable, and quiet, with each key optimized for an exact balance of travel and responsiveness, in the size or color that suits you, including our newest edition, Sage. Now built on the latest
color.
Intel Evo platform,
So
it's up to
like
50% more powerful than the previous generation.
Greenish kind
And with
of color.
Thunderbolt 4, you can transfer
Nice.
data faster than ever and set up the perfect workspace with 2 4K monitors. And all this performance is optimized.
Wait, what? You can connect 2 4K monitors through just one USB-C
workspace
cable?
with 2 4K monitors.
Oh, it's Thunderbolt 4.
And all
Nice.
this performance is optimized.
So there are
for
kind
power-
of, because I know you can't do that with the, what is called, MacBook Air, right?
power efficiency.
Up
So
to
you
18
get
hours of
all-day
battery life.
up to 18 hours. And fast charge gets you back to 9 hours
Oh,
of battery life in
50% fast
just
charge in 30
minutes.
minutes.
And all this comes
impressive.
together on our stunning new 3x2 Pixel Sense display. Dolby Vision IQ ensures the best possible picture in any lighting, with richer
Okay.
details and sharper contrast. The speakers are perfectly tuned, and with Dolby Atmos 3D spatial processing, you'll feel immersed in your audio. With Windows 11 and the HD camera, you get true-to-life video that automatically adjusts exposure for any lighting environment. And the front-facing studio microphones capture your voice perfectly,
Since its release last year, you've told us that you love
Impressive.
Windows 11 more than any other version. And now I have the privilege of showing you even more. Windows 11 now includes system-wide live captions from any form of audio content. So you can see it
Live captions? For anything?
instantly transcribed on the screen. Voice access, which allows you
Nice.
to control your PC using only
That's
your
pretty
voice.
cool.
And natural
Like,
voices
think of
from
it from like the accessibility point of view, right? You can have live like transcription for anything now. And I'm guessing it uses like, I don't know, it uses
narrator,
AI.
creating more pleasant sounding audio to assist in navigating, reading, browsing the web, and interacting with apps. To help you look and sound your best, we are introducing Windows Studio camera and audio effects enabled by advanced AI on new NPU devices. Microsoft Presenter Plus features quick and
Okay.
natural interaction with Teams, so you can easily advance your
So you
slides
have a
and
like
mute
a
or
dedicated
unmute with the
a remote now for Teams presentations. This will be really handy. I don't know how
Push
much
of a
this
button.
costs because I teach on Teams at this college, right? And I feel like Microsoft is like the go-to platform at institutes. This will be handy.
and the audio dock
So
simplifies
like I can
your
just
physical
mute
desk
myself.
setup by
Wait, what
having
is this? Audio dock? So it's like a speaker, but then it's a dock?
one combined accessory for docking to monitors, a premium speaker,
Oh, what?
and a clear microphone array. Today, I am excited to announce
Wait, that's really cool. How much is this? I'll look it up. But that's so good. Like you can have a speaker and you can like connect stuff to your laptop.
a premium speaker and a clear
And then you can
microphone
also use
array.
it as a
Today,
mic, right?
I am excited to announce that
Integrations
we're
with
making
Apple.
it
So this
easy
is what I'm interested about. I saw some tweet about this. So across Xbox and Windows 11.
easier
Okay.
than ever for customers to access their iPhone photos and the entertainment they love from Apple on their Xbox and Windows devices. We start by bringing iCloud photo integration into the Windows
Okay.
11 Photos app. The Apple TV app is already on Xbox, and starting today, Apple
Oh,
Music
so
will
Apple
be
TV
available as
and
well.
Apple Music
We're
is on
thrilled to
Xbox,
announce
and then you get iCloud photos right into your like the Windows 11 app.
that Apple Music and the Apple TV app will
It's
launch
impressive.
on Windows next year.
It gets even better with Surface Pro.
I love
9.
where Microsoft is going. I just love it. Like with WSL stuff, VS Code, it's like
Every single
so
part
nice.
of Surface Pro 9 is meticulously crafted with highest grade aluminum to achieve
I also love these
beautiful
product
anodized
videos. I don't know how
colors
they shoot
with
it,
our
but
iconic
it's
kickstand built
really nice.
right
So
into
this
the
is Surface
device.
Pro 9.
With precisely
Okay.
tuned backlit keys and precision trackpad, you can work from
I
anywhere.
used to have
The
a
system
Surface.
is
I loved it.
engineered with the
As
latest
a
and
student,
most
I used a
powerful
Surface.
12th gen processor built on the Intel
Oh, it
Evo
was
platform.
lightweight,
With
easy to
Thunderbolt
carry.
connectors, you can set up two 4K monitors for a powerful
Oh my god! So I'm gonna say this: you can connect two 4K monitors with your Surface Pro 9. I'll pick that over MacBook Air.
desktop setup. This 13-inch Pixel Sense display is stunning. And when I detach the keyboard and bring this beautiful display closer, Windows 11 adapts with larger icon
okay.
spacing in the taskbar. Pen itself has a micro actuator inside, so you get subtle friction as you write. And the display is fused with optical bonding, so the ink flows out from the very tip of your pen. Good Notes, one of the
What?
most loved note-taking
GoodNotes?
apps in the world
So they have GoodNotes now on Windows?
today. is
Because I
coming
thought that
soon
was like
on
a
Windows.
Mac
The
only
front-facing
thing.
camera is centered,
like a
so you're
iPad
not
only
looking
thing.
off to the side. The field of view is widened and designed at the perfect angle, so you and others are always in view. We designed the
Oh, nice.
microphones and
So it's not
speakers
like
to face
people
directly
looking at your
towards you.
nose kind of thing, right? Because I've had that issue with smaller laptops is, especially if you're just using the laptop and you don't have an external camera, is like when you open the laptop, right? And it's down on the desk, people are looking at your nose. I think XPS is the one that I have the weirdest angle with because the camera is at the bottom. So like right here. But yeah.
By carefully creating openings through the display. And today, we're introducing Surface Pro 9
With 5G?
with 5G. Built
so
on
you
the
can
new
have like
Microsoft
cellular
SQ3
on
processor,
your Surface
powered
Pro.
by Qualcomm Snapdragon, and up to 19 hours of battery life.
The new Surface Pro 9 with 5G has the most powerful NPU ever built for Windows. All that computational power drives Surface Pro 9 and Windows camera. The image produced by this new camera is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, so
and
it's
the new
like
portrait
adaptive
blur
cam.
emulates
It
the
like
wide
focuses
aperture
on
optical
you,
effect of a professional DSLR
and it's also
camera.
blurring the
With
background.
auto-framing
That's
built
pretty
right
good.
in, the burden of trying to stay in the shot is now no more.
Oh,
As the
yeah, so
camera
it
zooms in, we
moves, or like
simultaneously
it adapts
depixel
to
the
where
image
you're
using
moving.
our innovative super resolution algorithm right in the auto frame.
With the latest generation of our pioneering eye contact
So they actually
feature,
captured
we
this
can
on Pro
stay
9.
engaged,
That's impressive.
maintaining
That's
natural
nice.
eye-to-eye contact.
They wouldn't let me bring my leaf blower in here, so I brought my hairdryer instead. And with voice focus turned on, can't hear it.
Oh,
But
so
what's
noise reduction.
mind-boggling is the Surface Pro 9 with 5G. All these effects run concurrently and continuously in real time on each video frame while consuming just a few watts of power. It's built right into Windows, and with just a click of a button, you can use it on any of your favorite video or audio apps, or even on the web. All this magic happens while leaving your CPU and GPU unburdened, so your application tasks can run smoother and faster.
Pretty good.
Sound new?
What is Surface Studio 2
Studio
Plus?
2
Oh, yeah, they're
Plus.
they're
We've redesigned it with the Intel
the
i7
impressive
quad-core
one in-
processor,
all-in-one
NVIDIA
desktop
GeForce
thing.
RTX 3060. It is 5 times more powerful than the original Surface Studio.
It has a RTX
3060. It is
3060.
NVIDIA GeForce 3 Thunderbolt 4K resolution.
This is
There's
I
over a
like this
billion
kind of
colors.
stuff
The color
because
depth is a DCI
like I think it's good
V3
for
those of you who are fans.
like my
New
parents,
Dolby
right?
Vision, Dolby
Because you
Atmos,
don't
the
have to
sound is
deal with
gorgeous,
like a
but
tower
ultimately,
or
just look at this,
something.
how simple it is. You'll see it expand.
For something at
but then
home
when I
where
start
they want to
launching
use
apps,
like a
watch how it
PC
comes to life. So I'll open my Twitter
and
page.
like
Just
things
gonna
like
grab it,
iMac, right?
use the
I really
windowing
love that.
mechanism here.
But this is
Four
like touch
14-inch
and you can angle it.
displays.
So I think
4
it's
apps
like
at
really
once, and
accessible.
only here.
Especially when I'm
with
thinking
this
of my parents. So
screen with
this is really
Windows
good.
on the new Surface Studio. I want to introduce you a new product called Microsoft Designer. This is a
Cool product.
very cool product. It's a new graphic design app in Microsoft 365. It automatically helps you get a variety of unique
To
images
what?
and designs. It automatically helps
DALL-E
you get a
2?
variety of unique images and designs that are generated. It helps you get class AI, including DALL-E 2 designs that are
Nice.
generated just for you from.
So it's like
exact descriptor
oh,
as the heaviest
it's
image,
like Canva.
or Instagram account of this type.
Oh
Hashtag
no.
recommendations too. We don't believe
Okay.
technology of this type
So they built a
at
Canva
any
competitor.
single point should be limited to a single app. That's why we're also bringing these Microsoft Creator tools, including DALL-E 2 integration, into Bing and Edge with the new Bing
my
Image
God.
Creator. Now you can use your words.
I have to
not just
use
to
this.
search, but to create. This is coming soon. The next wave of computing is here, right now, and we've
Okay.
created it.
That's impressive. I have to use Designer because I'm a huge user of Canva and I love it. Okay. That was cool. That was a nice event. Yeah, so we covered the first module, and we'll go over the next one in the next stream. Thanks for hanging out. It was really fun. We learned a lot about DevOps principles and the culture itself, right? And how the transformation happens. I see some messages in the chat. Sorry, I was watching the Microsoft Surface event for their hardware launches. But Viconia says, I'm learning DevOps from your YouTube content. Thank you for that. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're finding it helpful. They say, as I don't want to work as dev, especially in Sprint. There might be a DevOps, because my DevOps team did work in Sprint, so you never know. But yeah, glad you're liking the content. Yeah, I think it was a fun stream. It was better than the last one since we figured out audio issues, right? And yeah, we'll be doing the Cloud Developer Challenge. We are done with the module 1. We have 36 more to go before November 9th, right? So we'll figure it out. But yeah, I think it has been a good stream, and I'll see you in the next one. Also, look out for, more YouTube videos. If you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. It's the best way to support this channel. Yeah, hope you have, I think it's Monday tomorrow for a lot of my Indian folks that joined the chat. So I hope you have a good Monday tomorrow, and I'll see you in the next stream. Peace.
One time for the way she go, and 2 times for the bass down low, and 3 times when the shots on deck. Twerk so hard that she'll break your neck. What you gonna do? What you gonna say when the girl come in like an ocean wave? I stay down, but I'm way up. No ceiling can't hold us. I'm breaking the net and they know that I'm planning it. And back on this shit and I'm ravaging, just like a savage. We running through bottles and smashing them. Gotta get back to the cabinet. Show love when we hit the scene. She go out, live young and free. Wanna know what you think and see? Hey, party all night, that's nothing on me, man. You gotta take my keys. Yeah, this shit crazy. Yeah, this shit crazy. Yeah, this shit crazy. You gotta take my keys. Yeah, this shit crazy. I can't drive no more. Yeah, this shit crazy. Yeah, baby, please take my keys. My keys. Yeah, baby, please take my keys. You gotta take my cues. Yeah, okay. You do it for the show. You go dance that solo. Those rave girls, them go-go's, them white girls and they photos. Got a long night up in the 805 with the top down, doing 105. Gotta wait to the move when I hear the beat. Little freak on the side when I hit the street. 1 time for the way she go, and 2 times for the bass down low. 3 times when the shots on deck. Twerk so hard that she'll break your neck. What you gonna do? What you gonna say when the girl come in like an ocean wave? I stay down, but I'm way up. No ceiling can't hold us. Let's go. You gotta take my keys. Yeah, this shit crazy. Yeah, this shit crazy. Yeah, this shit crazy. You gotta take my keys. Yeah, this shit crazy. I can't drive no more. Yeah, this shit crazy. Yeah, baby, please take my keys. My keys. Yeah, baby, please take my keys. You gotta take my keys.